Welcome to YaARah's Yard podcast, created by me, Emily Cindy Wood. I'm a survivor of cancer, encephalitis, coma, multiple seizures, and domestic violence. Some of the topics that this podcast covers include encephalitis, disability, cancer, veterans, and Vermont.
Hi everyone, this is me, Emily Cindy Wood, and my hair, the way as much as it's grown out after my last chemotherapy ended, I called this YaARah's Yard podcast because YaARah is my Hebrew name and it means honeycomb. So hopefully listening to this can help sweeten your day a little. If not, just don't listen. Because different strokes for different folks. This is today, November 8th, in the year 2020. What I'm going to talk about this time, and it will be short, is I'm going to talk about how I am still on my cancer journey, and the background is in October 2018, I was diagnosed with cancer for the first time. And then I had a mastectomy, left side mastectomy, that October. Lymph nodes were found to have cancer. So December 2018 to May 2019, I had chemotherapy. Then I had radiation treatment for a few weeks. And then they waited a little while for some healing, and November 2019, my ovaries were removed and my fallopian tubes. And there's a big reason for that. I was taking tamoxifen after the radiation ended because that was supposed to block the estrogen in my body. The type of cancer I have, it feeds off from estrogen. And depending on what kind of cancer you or someone you know has, it feeds off from progesterone, or it feeds off from estrogen or something else. And there are people that have a mutated gene, BRCA, BRCA, sorry, BRCA1 or BRCA2 cancer gene, and I have the BRCA2 cancer gene. You're probably supposed to say BRCA because it's, anyways. So I have the cancer gene mutation. And it was helpful to have a discussion that was kind of in depth with a genetics counselor, because then I realized my children have only 50% chance of having the gene, my sisters as well. And so my sisters got tested and they did not have the cancer gene. I was the lucky one who had it. My daughter is being tested the 28th of this month. So cross your fingers and pray about that, please. And I know of one other person in my family who has tested positive. Other people are being tested, but just because the cancer is in your family, it doesn't mean that you have the gene. You should be gene tested yourself. Each person and each situation is different, just like a snowflake, just like if you were to take some paint and flick it with a paintbrush at some paper, there's no way that it's going to be the same each time. Cancer is obviously a lot more complicated than that, but just remember that each person is different. It all wraps around what is the way that the cancer is multiplying, what's it feeding off from. Mine feeds off from estrogen. Yes or no, do you have a cancer gene? And I do. So my cancer journey began in October 2018. I was diagnosed and I had a left side mastectomy, then chemotherapy, then radiation. I started taking tamoxifen, which blocks the estrogen. And in November 2019, my ovaries and fallopian tubes were removed, and that was in order to reduce the level of the estrogen in my body. So that, along with the tamoxifen, everyone expected it to keep the stuff at bay, but because of having the cancer gene, I wanted to go ahead and have a mastectomy on the other side to prevent cancer in that side. So in July 2020, the pandemic postponed it until July, but it would have happened earlier. I had my second mastectomy. The mastectomy was on the right side, and I also had a surgery called a deep flap chest reconstruction. And that's where they take tissue from your abdomen to create a new chest. So I'm still healing from that. And during that surgery, there was cancer found in the lymph nodes in the chest area. 9 of 20 removed lymph nodes were cancerous. And after the surgery, they did scans of the bones and other things. There was no other cancer found in the other areas. And I'm about to start radiation treatment tomorrow. So I'll have radiation treatment starting tomorrow. And there will be 30 sections of the treatment. So 30 days, I'll have to go for the treatments. And the treatments will be Monday through Friday. And after those are complete, then I'm supposed to begin an oral chemo pill that can be taken at home. And I'm nervous about that because I haven't done that before. But we'll see how it goes, kind of. What I'm the most nervous about is side effects, because when I go for chemotherapy infusions at the chemo center or cancer center, they go through my chemo port right here, and there's an anti-nausea medication that they give you before giving you the chemotherapy medication. And so I'm going to have to take the anti-nausea medication as needed at home while taking the chemo pill at home. And the oncologist told me that if I was to go through the infusions where I had the hospital chemotherapy treatments, that there's a high chance that within 6 months or a year that the cancer would be back because of how stubborn it is. And so he's suggesting that it might be better in the long run and more convenient and practical to do the chemo pill that I take orally. So we're going to do that. But if I did the actual chemotherapy treatments at the cancer center through my chemoport, then there would be a start date and an end date. And like I already mentioned, they would give me the anti-nausea medication prior to giving me chemo medication. When I went through chemotherapy before, I did not vomit even once. And I don't want to again. I didn't end up sicker than a dog or anything, and I didn't end up losing a lot of weight or any of that stuff, but so that part of the infusions in person at the hospital would be the practical part for me. The not practical part is that the in-person physical infusions, they all take hours. When you go for treatment, you might get there at, like say you get there noon, and you might, if you're lucky, you might be done around 4 p.m. that afternoon or later. And all of that time having to wear a mask because of the pandemic, that just seems extreme to have to deal with as far as wearing the mask. But I'm hoping that I have the least amount of side effects from the oral chemo, and hopefully you can cross your fingers about that, and pray about it if you want to. If anyone is going through cancer and they would like to be prayed about, or you're having your own cancer experience going on with medications or whatever, you can comment anything you want in the comment section under this, if you're on YouTube. But just understand that this is a makeshift podcast. I am not a medical trained person. I am not a nurse or a doctor. I will not give medical advice, and nothing in the comments that people say should be treated as it's sound medical advice towards you and your own situation, because each cancer patient, each cancer predicament is totally unique to that individual and that person's medical history, the family medical history, whether or not you have the cancer gene, lifestyle, many, many things. So don't take anything that I say or anyone else says in the comments or the podcast and say, oh, I am going to jump on that bandwagon, because that might not be something that's going to work out for you. You should check with your doctor and make sure that it is safe, because some things can work adversely with medications that you were taking, or some change in practices you have might somehow just diminish the ability of your medical team to treat you the way that you're being treated. So tomorrow I start the radiation. Then around December, I'm assuming December, but maybe in January, I'm going to start the oral chemo pill. And so part of me is looking forward to that and part of me is not. But that is something for another day to deal with. I haven't started it yet. And I wish everyone success and blessings and whatever you're going through today, whether it's cancer or not. I hope that you can find something positive to focus on, no matter what is going on that's negative. There's always a silver lining. And often I say things to people like, well, at least, I'm still alive. I can still talk. I can still hear and see so far. And I'm not in a wheelchair yet. I did start using a walker after the July surgery. And I don't know how long that will continue, but just, things could be worse. There's always someone that has it worse than you. And you don't want to jinx yourself and say, well, this could always be happening instead, because you don't want it to. Whatever it is, whatever it is, just leave things as they are. Talk about the positive stuff. And try and include music and some humor in your life. Just maybe keep a journal. If you can't focus to keep a journal, then record yourself talking or put videos somewhere where you're talking. And that's something later that your family can look at. If something was to happen, just because you have cancer doesn't mean that that's what's going to take you. You could walk across the road and get hit by a car, but that's not going to happen because we're being positive. I'll talk to you another time, and thank you for listening.
Joining me at YaARah's Yard podcast. Hopefully, you'll join us again soon. Till then, have a great day.